is your American dream?
Simply to be happy. That's it. Stress-free and happy as possible. That's really it. To support my friends and family and to lift them up and so for us to all succeed together. Yes.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Hump Day, Wednesday, May 25th. I am joined, as always, by Jonathan Yo-Yo Glasses.
Yo-Yo Glasses.
Yo-Yo Glasses. Jonathan Yo-Yo. Who likes Jonathan? I know, there's always comments.
Every day.
All right, people love Jonathan in the glasses.
I wonder why.
Raise your hands if you like Yo-Yo in the glasses. I do.
I do too.
All right.
I did it when I was young. I was like a nerd.
Yeah, you know, like on the days that you don't wear glasses, everyone's like, yo, wear your glasses.
Yeah, wear my glasses.
Yeah.
Like, we've been getting that. So I'm wearing this for y'all.
All right. Let's say hello to the squad. Yo-Yo Glasses.
Wait, do you wear glasses?
I do, but I don't look good in them. I don't like wearing them.
Oh, let me see.
I don't have
think
them
if
on
you
me.
got some cool glasses, I think you would
have
look
cool
pretty.
glasses, but I don't wear them ever. I should.
Everybody on the squad, would y'all like to see Brad in some specs?
I should. This is what I would look like.
Nah.
Yeah.
I think it would look pretty cool.
I should wear them because then I could actually see.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to strain your eyes.
I strain my eyes.
That's
I
not
should
good.
wear
You don't
them.
wear your contacts?
No.
Oh, see, I put it in contacts.
I don't wear anything.
Oh, no, Brad.
I go, oh, natural.
Tomorrow.
Oh, natural.
How about tomorrow?
Okay, it's Wacky World Thursday. I'll wear glasses tomorrow on
All
Wacky
right.
World Thursday. All right. All right, let's say hello to the squad. Burrell, Holt, Carol, also known as Carol Burrell Holt.
Yeah.
Squad up, Maureen McFarland. Squad up, Bad Gal Thompson.
Bad gal.
Pepe Samuel, Dara Winterbaugh. Squad up, Jessica Leamy. How are you? It's Hump Day, baby.
Woo.
Yeah, Jimmy Karaki saying hello. Josephine Latham. Carol Anderson the Tiger saying hello to every human being in the world.
Uh-oh, Carol.
But you forgot somebody.
The main guy.
It's okay.
Oh, he was crying earlier,
It's okay.
too.
Nikki Forever Blessed. Squad up. How are you? Deion Reed. Jennifer Anderson Samga. The G silent, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
We'll call it G silent. Jennifer Anderson Sam. Marlene Watt Russell. Squad up. Josephine Latham with a pre-schmooze question, Jonathan.
Okay.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
Says Josephine Latham. Can an American travel to Canada using a state identification or real identification? You should be able to, yes. You should be able to. Absolutely.
Nice.
Jessica Leamy with a pre-comment of the day. The glasses is back.
They back.
Yeah.
And also, everybody's saying that they want to see Brad in some glasses.
We'll see. We'll see. Maximilian Frontier saying, hey, Brad, Jewel Delph, squad up. Maybe this summer, Yo-Yo, we should do Brad's show from the beach.
Don't play. Look.
People go crazy.
Right.
Yo-Yo, take off your shirt.
Brad, too.
Yo-Yo, it's Hump Day. Yo-Yo, take off your shirt.
Don't play with me because y'all know I love a beach.
YouTube, Shan Smith, squad up. Susie Q, how are you, Westman? Darryl Winterbaugh, double fisting. Well, I like this one.
Uh-oh.
A new viewer.
Oh.
I like Bradshaw. Squad up.
Yeah. Oh.
I like that.
Wow, a new viewer saying squad up? I already know it.
The person's name is I like Bradshaw.
What?
I like Bradshaw. That is the
That's
viewer.
their name.
That is the viewer's name. Could be an
Oh.
old. It could be an old squatty who changed their name.
I like
Could be a
that.
new squatty.
Wow.
Yes. Jessica Leamy, squat up. Earth Angel Pert. Alcia Boy. Joan Grant, squat up. The Top Cat double fisting. Who else we like? I Like Bradshaw, by the way, says, I like yo-yo and colorful clothes.
It is, listen, you are absolutely right. It is spring and summer is upon us, so I will start wearing colorful clothes for you.
And
Whoever you are.
Whoever I Like Bradshaw is. Not to be outdone by somebody tomorrow will be I Love Bradshaw.
Whoa.
Right, and then there'll be I Love Bradshaw 2.
Or I Adore Bradshaw.
I Adore Bradshaw. Could be.
You could have a
Dial Austin, by the way, with also a pre-schmooze question of the day. If a parent filed an I-407 for themselves and a minor, can the minor regain? I don't even know what an I-4. What is I-4 was filed without the minor's consent, or the minor knowing what were the consequences of doing that? The I-407 is what? I don't even know what the I-407 is.
Let's
Can you
see.
look that up? I'm not
Yes,
sure what that form is.
I got you.
Is that like giving up? Is that giving up
407.
your green card? I don't know what that is. What is an
record of abandonment
record
of law,
of, yeah,
lawful
giving up,
permanent
So,
resident status?
so the answer is if the parent filed the I-407 for the child, once the child can't abandon permanent residence as a minor because they don't have the capacity to make that decision. But once that child turns 18, they're an adult, and months go by and they don't try to fix that problem, now they've abandoned their permanent residence status. All right, I rarely ever see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what the I-407 is, but I guess you don't need to file the I-407. You could just factually abandon your permanent residence,
Yeah.
just never come back to the United States.
Yes, as you use this form to let us know you are voluntarily abandoning your status as a lawful permanent resident.
Yeah, but you don't need that. You just don't go.
You just don't go.
Just don't come back.
So why would they have a form?
I don't know. All right, and Yo-Yo, take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad, you already know what time it is. I need you guys all to throw in all your questions in the comment section. Like you saw, we just answered 2 Schmooze questions, or prior to Schmooze. What do you call them?
Pre-schmooze. Pre-schmooze.
Pre-Schmooze questions.
You know, it's like when, I know my kids now, they have their friends come over to my apartment before they go out. They call it the pre-party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all the lingo.
Okay.
So this is, I bring that lingo here.
So it's the pre-schmooze.
Pre-schmooze, yes.
So make sure you guys throw in all of your questions right now in the comment section. So during social media check-in, we can ask all of those questions. And you guys, I need you guys to please share this video everywhere, all right? I say it every day, but I really want you guys to understand that this show cannot go to the whole world unless you guys actually post it and share it to your friends, your family. You guys can text it to each other. You can share it. Just click that little arrow and you can share it on all social media platforms, all right? So I need you guys to do that so we can let everybody know that we have this amazing show, right?
Quite frankly, they're the pilots of the show.
Yeah.
If they don't tell anybody, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Can't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be selfish.
No.
Share. Jinx.
Oh.
All right. What am I supposed to do? Oh, jinx, jinx, jinx? What? Jonathan?
Yes,
Okay.
come on. We do this all the time.
I forgot.
All right,
I don't know what happens. What happened to the Jonathan Ellis household when you were growing up?
We've done it.
I don't know that game. All right.
All right, guys. So we are going to start schmoozing soon. Brad is going to fill us on the latest headlines, including updates on the Texas elementary school mass shooting that occurred yesterday in Uvalde, Texas, a predominantly Hispanic town about 75 miles from the Mexico border, which is horrible, horrible. And of course, you already know it's Wednesday, so it is Hump Day. So we're going to be talking about some spicy headlines like the Cambodian government's urgent message to citizens to stop playing with phallic-shaped flowers.
It's the penis flower.
It's
A lot of women playing with the penis flower in Cambodia.
phallic-shaped. We're going to keep it.
Keep it PG.
Yeah, keep it PG.
Keep it PG.
As PG as we
and
can.
of course, you can call the telephone number scrolling at the bottom to get on our show. Ask your legal question. We have a few open lines still. 1-800-529-5465 international +1 212-227-8933. I say this all the time. Once we start getting into the schmooze, the phone lines light up like a Christmas tree. You can't get in. So now is the time to call if you want to speak to me live on the show, which we're going to be taking your calls in about 20, 25 minutes or so from now. Right, Yo-Yo?
Yep.
All right, 1-800-529-5465 is the number. Internationally, if the 1-800 number doesn't work, you could always call +1 212-227 8933. And later in the show, I'm going to be speaking with Bertha Loaiza, a mental health awareness and suicide prevention advocate based in San Diego, California. Bertha is known as the Miracle Girl. And once you hear her story, you will understand why she is the Miracle Girl.
Oh.
All right, you ready to schmooze?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so school was going to be over in 2 days.
In 2 days?
Yeah, it was supposed to be over tomorrow. School in Uvalde, Texas. An armed 18-year-old entered Texas elementary school classroom, barricaded himself in that classroom with the teacher, killing 19 children, 2 teachers, in the deadliest school shooting in almost a decade. According to state data, Robb Elementary teaches 2nd through 4th grades. They have 535 students. About 90% of those students are Hispanic. 81% are economically disadvantaged. The violent act shook a nation, still reeling from just 10 days earlier, the mass shooting in Buffalo that killed, where a white man killed 10 people in a hate crime, where he purposely went into a black neighborhood to kill black people. Now, yesterday's massacre is the 2nd deadliest shooting in a school since 2012, when 26 children and adults were killed at Sandy Hook, right up here in Connecticut. Now the city of Uvalde, about 90 miles west of San Antonio, Texas, just east of the United States-Mexican border, finds itself on a long list of, sadly on a long list of American communities devastated by the mass shooting. Parents waited late into Tuesday night at the Civic Center to learn whether their children had survived. Oof. You know, that shooter barricaded himself in the classroom for 1 hour.
Wow.
So presumably, I presume, I don't know for a fact, but I presume that most of these people got shot
in that
in the initial few minutes that he barricaded himself in, and it took 1 hour for the police to actually get into that classroom and kill him. People were lying on the ground, bleeding to death, dying, probably, sadly. And then these children are tiny.
Yeah.
They get shot up with bullets. You can't identify who they are anymore. So it took authorities a long time to identify children just by their DNA. The first victims' names publicly by relatives as among the dead were 4 10-year-olds and a 4th grade teacher. All of those killed were in that one classroom.
They were all in that one classroom. Wow.
Yeah. Last night, in a national address to the nation, President Biden recalled the Sandy Hook shooting, which happened when he was vice president. He said, "I had hoped when I become president I would not have to do this again. How many scores of little children who witness what happened, who see their friends die as if they're in a battlefield. For God's sake, they'll live with it for the rest of their lives. To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away." And President Biden knows he lost 2 children.
Right.
You never as a parent want to, I think it's very sad for a parent to survive and bury a child.
Yeah.
I would never want that ever to happen to anybody. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Because this is on the border, so close to the Mexican-U.S. border, because mostly Hispanic families living in this town, the Mexican government is also providing consular assistance. Sympathy poured out from all over the world. Pope Francis pushed for stronger gun control legislation. Leaders of France, Germany, Spain shared their condolences with those who lost their loved ones. Even the president of war-torn Ukraine, President Zelensky, took time out from his own issues to make a statement that it was terrible to have these victims of shooters in a peaceful time. So this is how the news is reporting how it happened, Jonathan.
Okay.
Salvador Ramos, he's believed to have had a fight with his grandmother, perhaps over, depends on what stories you're listening to, perhaps because he failed out of high school, perhaps they were fighting over payment of a utility bill. You hear different stories, but there was a fight between Salvador Ramos and his grandmother, and he shot the grandmother and killed the grandmother. After shooting the grandmother, he got in his car and he drove to the Robb Elementary School, where he was approached by police officers. He shot the police officers. They did not die. He ran into the school, barricaded himself in the classroom where he shot these little children, the teacher, and it took the police 1 full hour to actually get into that classroom, where they eventually killed him as well. Now, when the shooter got in the building, according to police, he barricaded himself into the classroom. He opened fire on all the children, on 2 of the teachers. Police told CNN that the officers were at a disadvantage. Did not sufficient manpower at the time. Their primary focus was to preserve any further loss of life. They started breaking windows around the school and trying to evacuate children and teachers while that was going on. I don't know what kind of disadvantage the police officers were at. There was only one shooter.
Right.
And there was more than one police officer at that scene.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they always say, well, we should arm the teacher. Police officers can't shoot down the assailant. What's the teacher going to say? I was disadvantaged too. A special tactical team of local and federal officers arrived, eventually forced their way into the classroom, and shot the gunman dead. Some of the children who were killed, 10-year-old Xavier Lopez's mother confirmed her son was killed. She said Xavier couldn't wait to attend middle school. Xavier had been at the school earlier yesterday to cheer. The mother had been at the school earlier yesterday to cheer on Xavier during the honor roll ceremony. That's him. He got a certificate for being on the honor roll.
Wow.
And now gunned down just hours later. 10-year-old Amiri Jo Garza, her father, Angel Garza, posted on Facebook, "She has been found. My little love is now flying high with the angels above." He wrote this on Facebook. He said, "Please don't take a second for granted. Hug your family and tell everyone in your family that you love them." Jose Flores Jr., 10, he was killed as well, his father confirmed. Brother of 2 younger siblings, Jose loved baseball, video games, was always full of energy. 10-year-old Uzziah Garcia was also slain. His family told CNN. His uncle, Mitch Renfro, said the 4th grader was full of life and loved anything with wheels. Uzziah's grandfather said he was the sweetest little boy I've ever known. Lexi Rubio, she was 10 years old in the 4th grade, had made all A honor roll, received Good Citizen Award. Kimberly Rubio wrote in a post on Facebook, "We told her we loved her and would pick her up after school. We had no idea that this was goodbye and we would never see her again. She was kind, sweet, appreciated life. She was going to be an all-star in softball. Had a bright future, whether it's sports or academics. Please let the world know we will miss our baby." Even 4th grade teacher Eva Morales, she was killed as well, according to her aunt. She was an educator for 17 years, and her off time enjoyed running, hiking, biking, spending time with her family. That's just a few of the people.
A few.
Just a few. Just a few of the people. The shooter attended the same schools in that town.
Yeah, it was close by.
Yeah, as we said, he shot his grandmother. Ronaldo Reyes, the shooter's grandfather, told ABC News he was unaware that his grandson had purchased 2 AR-15 assault rifles and that they were in the house with ammunition. Completely unaware.
How do you not know that there's an 18-year-old that has 2 guns like that big?
I don't believe him.
You don't?
Of course he's going to say I didn't know. Well, he's going to say, yeah, of course I knew he had all the rifles in his gun. Of course he did.
Those guns are massive.
How do you not know that?
Look at them.
And Ronaldo Reyes, the grandfather, he was a convicted felon. So he also had known that those guns were in the home.
And he would go to jail.
He would go to jail for being in a home as a convicted felon with assault-style rifles. Grandfather claimed there were no red flags on the morning of the shooting. He downplayed the shooter's dispute with his wife, his grandmother, saying that the two had a tiff over a payment of a phone bill. Rather than what the news has said was there was a huge fight about him being a dropout. And he said that the shooter, Ramos, was staying with his grandparents because he was having problems with his mother. So this is obviously a troubled child. This was obviously a child who needed help. So we're giving guns to people. We're allowing people to go buy guns. You know, according to Governor Abbott, he didn't have any criminal record. He was able to buy a gun.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't mean you're not troubled. That doesn't mean you don't have mental health issues.
If there is only a way to actually, you know, make sure that these people are okay to purchase guns.
You know, in a way, it's like almost like the entire community, you know, failed this kid. Nobody sees that there's something wrong with him. Nobody does anything to help him. No, there's no services for him to prevent this from happening. All we hear is arm the teachers.
Right.
All right.
So
we should be on the defensive. We should wait for somebody to shoot and play defense and hope we don't get shot. That's everybody's solution. What about identify sick people?
That's what I'm saying.
Identify people who have mental issues, literal mental issues. What about treating guns like you treat a car? Can't be hard. Okay, we don't allow people to just go start driving a car down the street because a car can kill somebody, can kill the occupant, and it can kill people on the street. So what do, Jonathan? We teach people how to drive a car.
You have to pass.
And you have to pass a test. Both, you have to know what the signs are on the road, and you have to be able to use a car and know how to drive a car so that the rest of society knows that you're not going to get in a car and kill people.
You start with a permit,
correct?
Then go into a license.
Correct. So why?
So many steps.
Why do we treat cars as a deadly instrument, which is basically a car's transportation, but we actually treat the deadly instrument, the gun? Nobody needs any training. Nobody needs any permits. You can walk in and buy guns in almost any state. No mental capacity.
That's so weird.
According to Gun Violence Archive, and by the way, I read articles that they could even make guns now kind of like your iPhone, where or your Mac, where you can, where there can be a safety feature on the gun that only the purchaser's fingerprint could actually use the gun. There's technology for that. It exists. So if you make sure that people know how to use a gun, you do background checks. I'm not saying there won't be gun violence. There still will be gun violence, but I think it would be reduced a lot. and you put safety features on guns that only the person who purchased that gun
Right.
could actually use it because it's their fingerprint or their eye. You know, like you open up a like you open up your iPhone.
Why does anybody need that type of gun? Like,
Why do you need that?
Like, look at them.
Okay, you don't need it. You don't need it. You certainly don't need it for your own safety. You don't need it for sport.
That's wild. Look at that. That is used in war. That should be used in war.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, there's so far been more mass shootings in 2022 than there are days that we've had in 2022. So that we're on our 144th day of the year of 2022, and there have been 213 mass shootings in the United States of America. 213 mass shootings in 144 days. And a mass shooting, by the way, really means what it means. It means where 4 more people actually got hit by a bullet. The parents of the children who died in the Sandy Hook Elementary and Parkland, Florida school shootings expressed support for the Uvalde community, add frustrations about the shared language of loss that gun violence has created time and time again. Fred Gutenberg's daughter Jamie was one of 17 people killed in the 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He said, "I can't stop thinking about these families today who need to figure out how they're going to bury their children, who need to figure out how they're going to console their children. And I can't stop thinking about this community that needs to figure out how they're all going to rally, how they're all going to take care of each other after this aftermath." He said of Uvalde, "There is now an army of survivors to support them," sharing advice for those now in mourning, the words of his rabbi at his own daughter's funeral after his daughter was killed in a mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman High School. And his rabbi's words were, "We don't move on, but we do move forward." And by the way, 1 year ago, almost to the day, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, the same state where this just happened, signed 7 laws to expand gun rights for people, to allow people to legally carry handguns without a license, pledging to keep Texas a bastion of freedom. Abbott said that day, flanked by representatives of the National Rifle Association. So, a year ago. Texas will always be the leader in defending the Second Amendment, which is why we built a barrier around gun rights this session. One of the laws passed last year authorized a so-called constitutional carry, which means that law-abiding Texans 21 years or older, meaning you don't have a criminal record, you can carry a gun in a holster and walk around like you're a cowboy. Other laws made it legal for hotel guests to store firearms and ammo in their rooms, allow gun owners to carry their firearms in their holsters.
It's wild to me when, like, I hear them, like, say, "Oh yeah, you know, these are our amendments," but these amendments, weren't they written in like the 1700s? It's like, yo, we're not living in the same days. Like, things change.
Do you know when gun culture started?
When?
During the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
The gun what?
Gun culture.
Gun culture?
This whole gun culture that...
How so?
Because there was a liberal bent of giving civil rights to minorities and blacks and equal rights, and there started to coalesce around whites, conservative whites started to coalesce around the idea that they need to protect themselves. They need to protect themselves from the minorities that were gaining rights, and their way to fight back against civil rights and equality, liberalism, gay rights, all sorts of different civil rights,
Right.
was to be able to protect themselves from this government that is giving rights to people that they don't think they should have. And so they started having this whole idea that the government is intruding on our lives and we need to be able to protect ourselves, and there's a constitutional right to protect ourselves. That's where this whole thing came from. Meanwhile, that's why you see the Republican conservatives all rally around this. More liberal Democrats say gun rights.
Right.
Because it's that conservative, Republicans who are using guns as a way to fight back against social justice. That the government's intruding in our lives. Former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, he's running for governor of Texas. And he interrupted good for him. He interrupted Governor Greg Abbott's news conference in Uvalde today. He's actually running against Abbott for governor. He said, he approached the stage and told Abbott, "This is on you.
Yep. Sure
You
is.
said this was not predictable. This is totally predictable when you choose not to do anything." O'Rourke was then escorted out of the auditorium by law enforcement agents. One of the officials on stage was heard calling O'Rourke an a-hole and a son of a bitch. Abbott responded to O'Rourke. Here it is.
Like you, why don't you get out of here?
How do you call someone like that an a-hole and an SOB for telling the truth and fighting for rights?
Because he's an SOB, because he was interrupting what their spin on all of this. O'Rourke talked to reporters outside Uvalde High School after he was thrown out. He said there are solutions the governor has ignored. He said these are solutions that have been brought up by the people of Texas. Each one of those has bipartisan support, including banning the sale of AR-15 rifles. Right now, we can get that done if we had a governor who cared more about the people of Texas than he does his own political career. You can do all the praying you want, Jonathan.
Right.
All these
Not gonna bring
politicians,
any of
let's
them.
pray, let's pray, let's pray. Prayers are not changing anything. And Beto O'Rourke is right. This is extraordinarily predictable. And for anybody to say, "I'm shocked, I can't believe it,"
Oh, please.
it's going to happen again. Multiple times. It's happened 213 times this year. 213 times this year. And we're only 144 days into the year.
When I read people say, "Oh my God, the unimaginable just happened," I'm like, no, that's very imaginable in the United States. Like, and
Right.
that's where the problem is.
They need more than gun control. You need to be able to regulate guns like you regulate a car.
Yeah.
That's where it has to start. I really believe it. All right? People have to learn how to use a gun, pass a test, pass background checks. And by the way, that's not going to stop gun violence. All right? The only way to stop gun violence is no guns.
But it definitely
Okay?
will help.
Right. Well, of course,
Like-
register them, get a license.
Listen, I'll take
Put
that.
put the safety feature on a gun that only the person who buys the gun can use it.
But you still have to create some kind of a process for that person to purchase it.
And you're still giving people the right to bear arms, but
Right.
you're also giving people the right to live and go to school without fear of getting killed.
It's wild.
You know, there's rights in life. There's rights in life, and your rights in life don't end when you're born. But according to the Republicans, your rights in life end when you're born. All right? You have a right to carry that. You have to carry that baby all the way to term. We can't kill that baby. When that baby is born, you don't have any rights to life anymore. Quite hypocritical.
Very.
According to, you know what? Let's just get to Hump Day. Let's have
Yeah,
some fun.
this is.
Let's get some fun. All right, you have any camels?
It's Hump Day.
I was not even going to go into coronavirus.
It's Hump Day. It's hump day.
I didn't even turn to hump day after that. Can we get the camels one more time? I gotta put a smile on my face.
It's hump day.
The camels making you a little happier?
No.
No.
It's hump day.
All right, one more time with the camels. One more time, Ian. We gotta get a little happy here.
How many
Let's have
camels
some-
do we have up in here?
We got any more camels?
Oh man, this camel never comes out. Look,
It's hump day.
Yeah, nobody ever saw that camel before.
He don't even know what to say. He's just running around.
It's hump day.
Camel's like, man, I gotta get out of the
Right,
cage for
he's
this.
like, oh my god.
All right, so did you see this? Madonna is making a nude NFT.
I did.
Yeah, the 63-year-old singer teamed up with non-fungible token extraordinaire Beeple to create a series of X-rated graphic NFTs. The NFT collection is going to be sold for charity. It's a 3D model of Madonna's vagina.
It is. I saw it.
Why would you want this? Well, Madonna, I'll tell you what Madonna says about her NFT vagina. I'm waiting for the Goop Gwyneth Paltrow to do this too, right?
Right. No. She just wants y'all to smell.
Smell it, right? Madonna said in a statement, I want to investigate the concept of creation, not only the way a child enters the world through a woman's vagina, but also the way an artist gives birth to creativity. I think she also wants to investigate how these NFTs work.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the first animation called Mother Nature shows newly single Madonna lying on the ground, legs spread, giving birth to a tree.
Yes, that's it right there.
Right. The second one, Mother of Evolution, shows the material girl birthing butterflies.
Yes.
And the last one, rounded out, is Madonna, legs spread wide open, and insects coming out. It's pretty gross.
I mean, hey. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well,
but
Jonathan, if you want to get it and buy it, you can. The auction is May 11th on Super Rare. I guess that's a website that sells NFTs.
yeah, I'm pretty good on that. But
You
I
think
mean,
it-
at
do-
least
do you-
at least
do you
it's
think
going
it- do you
to a
think
good
it's-
cause though.
What,
so
what is
like,
it going to?
Voices of Children or something like that. Children of Voices.
It's going
something
to
like that.
the Voices of Children Foundation,
Yes.
the City of Joy in Black, Mama's Bailout, all of which are focused on supporting women and children around
Which,
the world.
like I do love about Madonna. She's always about certain causes.
Right.
She's always been an advocate. She has always spoke her truth and is never afraid of just being who she is. So that I could definitely appreciate, and I commend her for that. And it's going, like I said, it's going to a good cause. I mean, if I were to, I wouldn't purchase it, but I would donate. Just because
Do you think it's going to go for a lot of money?
Absolutely. It's Madonna's name. She's a legend. She's an icon.
Meanwhile, the Cambodian government is urging citizens to stop playing with the penis plants. The Ministry of Environment issued the stern statement. They issued a very stern and hard statement, Jonathan. All right? They a very stern and hard statement on May 11th. Yeah, there was a video that went around with women playing with the penis plants.
What's wrong with the penis plants?
Well, they're endangered. These penis
they're
plants,
endangered.
yes.
I thought they were
the
gonna be,
Nepenthes
poisonous.
holdeni. It's a tropical pitcher plant commonly found in the mountainous regions of western Cambodia. It is dubbed the penis plant due to its resemblance of an erect manhood.
See, the one thing, and this is the reason why I can't stand social media.
Why?
If social media wasn't out, then it wouldn't
Nobody
be,
would
nobody
be
would
picking
care.
the penis plants.
Yeah, look.
Does
they're
that look
doing
like
this-
a penis?
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
A yellow one and a white one.
Yeah. A Simpsons one and a Family
What is this
Guy one. I
woman
don't know.
with her head down on the penis plant doing there?
No, they're just picking it
they're
and
picking
playing.
at it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm saying, it's so corny when people do stuff just for social media and stuff. I totally hate it. I hate this whole social media genre, generation, whatever it is.
What did Demi Moore do? Demi Moore did not. She posed next to a big phallic statue.
Okay.
So why can't you do that?
Yeah. See? And she actually made it look fashionable.
And by the way, a woman found it a very ingenious way to get breast enlargements. She went on TikTok. Her name's Haley Marie. And she went on TikTok and said, I've had the same breast since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I can't take it anymore. And so I'm going to start a GoFundMe campaign. And I want everybody to donate $1.
Oh, look at that.
And on the GoFundMe campaign, just from her TikTok that said she had the same breast since she was 8 years old, she got 7,000 people to donate $1.
Wow.
And she got her breast implants.
I read that a lot of the followers, or most of the followers, were actually not liking her new breasts.
Really?
And saying that they liked it before. Yikes.
Well,
I mean, it looks good, though. You know?
Well, she's happy.
Look at it.
She's
That's a
very
good thing. And
happy.
it's not
That-
like crazy big or anything. So I
No,
think-
she's happy. So,
Yeah.
so if she's happy, then she feels good. It doesn't matter what her followers think.
Exactly.
You
Look at
know?
them. They said better before. She said, Simon says, shut the F up.
Is that what she wrote
That's
back?
what she wrote under.
Yeah, that's funny. Somebody else wrote, you look fantastic both ways. I'm glad you're more confident and feel good in your skin, Rocket Man. So that was a pretty
Yeah.
ingenious way
Listen, people
to get her boobs done.
You see, now if you're using social media for something like this, I'm cool with it. You know,
Right.
if you want to give them money,
And by the way, there's another social media influencer on TikTok. Her name's Paulina Nioli. She lives right here in New York. She's a Russian influencer, originally from Russia. And she broke up with her boyfriend because boyfriend said he had to concentrate on his career. So she did a video and says, look what happens. I break up with my boyfriend and now I'm dating his boss.
yeah, of the entire,
Yes.
like the owner of the company.
The owner of the company. She said, revenge is best served cold.
Ooh.
She wrote on her TikTok.
Ooh,
Now, she did not reveal the name of her ex.
that's her.
She did not reveal the name of her ex nor the company he works at.
Oof.
And there was a fierce debate. One asked, on TikTok, why is this a flex? There's nothing wrong with a guy who wants to focus on his career, especially if he's invested thousands of dollars into his education. Others claim that Nioli's ex made the right decision in letting her go, as she seemed only interested in his money. However, the model snapped right back.
Yeah.
Said not the people in the comments saying something like, oh, girl, it's searching for money, because she claims she's a millionaire and she employs over 100 people.
There you go.
She says she doesn't need the money. But she said, if I have all this money, what am I supposed to do? Date somebody who's not wealthy?
That part, I agree.
Why?
I agree.
There's lots of wealthy people who date people who are not wealthy.
Wealthy men that date women that
There's
aren't
lots
wealthy.
of wealthy men who date women who don't have money.
There's not.
And why can't?
There's not a
and
lot
why
of
can't?
wealthy
and why
women.
can't wealthy women? Why do wealthy women have to date wealthy men? Why can't a wealthy woman date a non-wealthy man?
Because no, they can, but if
But she
it's-
says she
but
can't.
If
She
then
says
that's
she
her
can't.
prerogative. If that's her
But I
preference,
don't know why.
Because it's the same thing as saying a man has a preference of how his girl is supposed to look. If a wealthy man, you don't never see no wealthy man with a average-looking girl. You're gonna see a wealthy man get a fine girl. So if a wealthy woman wants a wealthy man, that's her prerogative to have.
Okay, I'm just saying, but she doesn't have to. She's like, of
She
course.
said, for her, she does. Because that means she's satisfied, and if you want to be satisfied, that's what you have to do for her.
Well, a little sniffing. We did a little investigation
Oh,
on
did
her.
we?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. She claims she's a movie producer, but on her IMDb page only lists 2 films. None have been released yet. And she claims to be an actress, but her only credit is a radio operator in the 2022 Mickey Rourke movie War Hunt. And she claims to have hundreds of people working for her. We don't know this for a fact, but on her business website, she offers fans courses on how to promote and monetize their social networks with a VIP package, setting buyers back a hefty $2,900 for the course.
Ooh.
All right, ready to get to TikTok time?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so in this edition of TikTok time, I answer questions about a canceled visitor's visa. And if you are Canadian and planning to move to the United States, let's watch. You won't get your visitor's visa back after a 5-year ban because you got banned. So there's a reason. Misrepresentation, fraud, criminal activity. You would need a waiver, and I doubt they would ever give you a visitor's visa again anyway. The special rules for Canadians to enter the United States are as a Canadian citizen, not permanent resident. As a Canadian citizen, you can show your Canadian passport, an enhanced driver's license, a Nexus card, a Century card to cross the border for 6 months for purposes of visiting. As a Canadian and Mexican, there's trade NAFTA, that certain jobs you're allowed to come work in the United States if you have a job offer and a letter describing that job. You can get a work visa at the border, to a TN visa to enter the United States to work for 1 year in one of the specific enumerated jobs for TN visas. Other than that, Canadian citizens follow the same rules and laws as everybody else. Those are the only special things Canadians get. Oh, unless, of course, you're a Native American with a Canadian citizenship, then there's special rules for you. Fuck. And by the way, there was the initial reports was that he killed the shooter killed the grandmother, but Jill just whispered in my ear that the grandmother is still alive in critical condition.
Right. I could have sworn
I could have read that. I read that she died too,
I'm
but
happy.
apparently she's alive.
Wow, I'm happy that she is.
Yeah. All right, you ready to do some meat and potatoes?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Famata in Trenton, New Jersey. How are you?
I'm good. Good evening.
What can I do to help you?
Yeah, thank you for everything you do.
My pleasure.
I went for my interview sometime 2019, and since that time, I'm yet to hear from immigration office and nothing.
Okay, so your interview, was it a marriage case?
Yes.
And what happened at the interview?
Some of the questions they asked was kind of, my answer was different. My husband's answer was different.
All right. And are you and your husband together right now?
Yes.
Okay. So why did you think you didn't perform well, you and your husband? If you're together, you live together, why don't you think you did well?
Because the person asking the interviewer was asking me questions. Also, the lawyer I went with was asking me questions at the same time.
Okay, so everybody was talking over everybody, and you got confused. Okay, all right. So
I got confused.
Okay, so it sounds to me that you didn't do very well at the interview, obviously, and they don't believe that you're in a bona fide marriage. Bona fide marriage, we say it all the time. It's a specific meaning. They don't believe that you and your husband live together and have a financial relationship. That's what you need to prove to get the marriage approved. So maybe they're doing an investigation, a field investigation, and coming out to your home at some point. But certainly it's now 2019 where you went for your interview. You probably filed your papers in 2018. We're now almost halfway through 2022. So you filed an adjustment application 3.5, 4 years ago, whatever it may be. And you're considered an immediate relative, and I say this a lot also, immediate relative, meaning that you're immediately eligible for your green card and waiting 3.5 years for a green card. There's nobody can argue that's immediate. So my advice would be, at this point, to either threaten a mandamus or file a mandamus, as long as you're confident, and we're confident, that you're in a bona fide marriage. And what would happen when you do that is that most likely, immigration, the USCIS, is going to either schedule you and your husband for another interview and separate you and give you a Stokes interview, and hopefully you do better. Or they may give you what's called a notice of intent to deny, listing all the reasons why they want to deny you and giving you an opportunity to respond and overcome those reasons. What the mandamus does is gets the case moving again. And I think that's what you need to do now.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let's go to Nikki in Niagara Falls, New York.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Nikki.
How are you doing?
Good.
Okay, I have a question pertaining to something that someone asked yesterday. So my mother passed away, and my sister wants to petition for me. Now that as we
Did your mother
been going
file
through
for you? Did your mother file for you?
no,
Okay.
she passed away. Now that we got a hold of her birth certificate for all three of us, my sister has one name on the birth certificate, and I have her right name on my birth certificate. So I'm like, I heard you told the gentleman that he can get three people to write, some sort of letter saying that they know that she's my mother or whatever, and I can. If they don't believe that, I can get a DNA.
Correct.
How would I get a DNA?
How does that work?
But how would that work?
All right. So how it would work is this: you're going to file a visa petition. You would file a visa petition with the affidavits saying that, however, the people know that your mother, whatever your mother's name is, Mary and Jane, and it's the same person, and she's the mother of your sister, and she's the mother of Nikki, and we know all of this because of A, B, C, and D. And you submit it with the birth certificates, and they will most likely give you what's called an RFE, request for more evidence. And in that request for more evidence, they will give you options on how to prove that your sisters, including taking a DNA test under the guidance of USCIS.
Okay.
So your sister would do it, you would do it, and then the labs would send the results to USCIS.
Okay.
All right. So you have to wait for the Immigration Service to request it. You just don't go and do it.
Okay.
All
okay.
right?
I don't. Okay. So basically, my sister and I will take the DNA.
Yes.
And then they'll figure out if we're blood sisters or not.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, I have one more question.
What?
You said something about Canadians can come across the border and work. How does that work? I was trying to listen.
When did I say that?
You said something about the Canadians
on the TikTok that was just now? Canadians have special rules under the North American Free Trade Agreement. So certain Canadians in certain occupations, you have to Google occupations under the North American Free Trade Agreement, and certain Canadians, if they have a job offer in that specific occupation and they are qualified to work in that occupation, they can go to the border with their job letter describing what they're doing and their qualifications and get a work visa to come specifically work for that company. But you don't get a blanket work authorization to work wherever you want.
Okay. All right. Got you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Brad.
All right. Good luck.
You have a good night.
Okay, thanks.
And
I think maybe she had something more. So sorry about that, Nikki. Kay in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Hi, Brad. I have a question. So I had called in previous shows. My mom, she was deported from the airport. My question, and you said that even if I'm a U.S. citizen, I can't file for her. It'll have to be a parent or a spouse.
Why was she deported at the airport? For some sort of misrepresentation, I assume, right?
Yes. Right.
So, because you can't get the waiver for misrepresentation through a U.S. citizen son or daughter. That's why.
Okay. If she and my dad, they're married, if I file for my dad, would she automatically be added to that, or he would have to come and file for her once he gets his paperwork?
Actually, this is what you should do. You file for your dad, file for your mom. I would file for your dad first, and then file for your mom a few months later, so that dad gets his green card a few months before your mom, or visa appointment a few months before your mom. Dad comes in as a lawful permanent resident, and now you can do the waiver through the father, even though you're sponsoring. So in other words, the sponsor doesn't have to be automatically the person who does the waiver. You as the daughter can be the sponsor and petition your mom, and we can do the waiver through dad, who has now entered the United States as a lawful permanent resident.
Oh, so is it best for me to just file for him from Jamaica, or?
Yeah, well, if he's
in the U.S.
If he's in the United States and he's visiting and stays more than 90 days, he can adjust his status here, or you can file for him in Jamaica, whatever's best. But the point is that we need dad to have a green card for a few months before mom walks in and gets a visa appointment, so you can be ready for the waiver.
Okay. And another question. I put in for my 10-year last year, August, but I haven't heard anything, and there's like no case update.
Yeah, it's going to take 2 years. Everything's backed up in those 751s. Hang in there.
And it's okay if I apply for my citizenship under the 3-year rule?
As long as you're in a bona fide marriage with your spouse, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
And can I get help through you with my parents?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everything
Thank
is
you.
absolutely with me on this question.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let's go to Cy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Cy. Say. Is it Say or Cy? SAI in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, Mr. Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening.
How do you pronounce your name?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
How do you pronounce your name?
Sai, you're
Sai.
right. You're
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Sai, yes,
Okay.
you're right.
What's going on?
So actually, I'm calling regarding for VAWA case. I applied for my VAWA on November 23rd, 2020. So I got the first prime facie notice February 8th, 2021. So I got my EAD as well. So my second, I was got for my second prime facie 28th, 2022 January. So it's going to be in next 2 months. On July 27th, it's going to be expired my prime facie. And still I didn't heard anything. If you have any idea, can you please tell me?
Tell me when you filed your VAWA and your adjustment. Tell me the date again.
Both are in same, November 23rd, 2020.
It's taking about 3 years, start to finish.
Okay.
So if you filed in November 2020, my best guess will be that sometime next year, hopefully sometime in early 2023, not late 2023, you'll be getting some results.
Yeah, I have one more question if you don't mind,
Go ahead.
Brad.
Yeah.
So once I get the approval for I-360 in case, so I have to wait for a long time for I-485 as well. It will already. I already applied on November.
Usually you get, once your I-360 is approved on your VAWA, you usually get an adjustment interview about 9 months later.
Okay. So this is the last. I'm just telling you. I provided my proof of the VAWA, 2 years of V-Energy bill, 2 years of lease document, 2 years of bank statement, and my full-time job.
You're asking me, will it get approved?
Sir?
You're giving me a list of documents.
Whatever I sent it, yeah.
What you sent in. And your question is, I assume you're telling me this list because you want my opinion on whether your case will be approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
for your guess, what
I don't know, but I'll ask the Magic 8 Ball. Will Cy's VAWA application, given all the documents he submitted, be approved? And what does it say, Jonathan? 8 Ball's never wrong.
Most likely.
Most likely. I just read it as we read it. Most likely. 8 Ball says most likely. 8 Ball's never been wrong in 5 years of Bradshaw Live. So feel good, Cy. All right?
all right, Mr. Brad. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go to Amanda in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Amanda.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I'm married to my spouse is in the military. We've been married for 3 years. I just received a notice for interview, but he is stationed in Germany, and he's a sergeant. It's been very difficult to get him here with everything going on in the Ukraine.
Get a letter from the military that he's stationed in Germany. Show up to your interview. They'll reschedule it when he comes back.
Okay.
All right.
Will his orders do, or get the letter?
His orders would be fine, but if you can get a letter, that's even better.
Okay.
All
All right.
right.
Thank you.
Let's go to David in Atlanta. David.
Oh, hi. How you doing, Brad?
How you doing?
Good. So I'm a permanent resident, right? I'll hit my 5-year mark in a few months. Now, my girlfriend, who we had a child together, she came up on a student visa, and she had to stop school for financial issues. I was wondering, I wanted to marry her. Do I wait until I become a citizen, or
marry her now? It's not going to affect your citizenship. And then once you become a citizen, file her adjustment application. The reason why I'm telling you to marry her now is that if you do that now, most likely by the time she gets her green card, she will have already been married to you for 2 years. She'll get her 10-year card, not her 2-year card. You only have to go through this one time.
Okay. So she don't have to leave.
No. Marry her, file your citizenship. After you become a citizen, file her adjustment, and you can tell the truth on your naturalization. I'm married to whatever your future wife's name is, and she's overstayed on her visa. No one will bother her.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, good luck. Baby in the background. Cute. Let's go to Shelly Ann in Lakeland, Florida.
Hey, good afternoon, brother. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Okay, I have this question. It's about a follow-to-join case where my daughter's father immigrated to the United States in 2018, where he should have bring the kids with him, but he didn't bring the kids.
Who sponsored him?
His mother.
Okay.
So the kids are listed on there as follow-to-join.
Okay, how old are the kids
on
now?
On the SEAC website.
How old are the kids now?
Okay, one is 20, one is 18, one is 17.
Okay.
So on the SEAC website, it's saying ready. Okay. Whenever we are trying to get, I don't know the next step in which we should take, because we're trying to contact the Jamaica consulate.
So we have to contact Jamaica, because that's where the file is, to schedule them for visa appointments, and you got to get the 20-year-old here before 21, or they're going to age out, most likely. So when does the 20-year-old turn 21?
Next year, March.
All right. So you may, at some point, if you're having trouble reaching them, get the services of a lawyer to help, like moi.
Okay. So can we actually hire you?
Yeah. Hold on.
So tell me something then. Do a follow to join as a year span, like how many years it has to expiration on there, like 3 years, etc.
It expires when the children reach 21.
Okay, so it's actually there. Okay, all right. I'll have. Can you connect me to someone so I can speak to them about this?
Let's go to John in Houston.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hi, Brad. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you so much. Actually, I had my interview and my I-130 was approved, but my I-45 was actually put on closure due to the fact that I'm in removal proceeding. So, last month.
Why are you in removal proceedings?
I was just picked up in my house.
Okay. How did you come? You're from St. Lucia. How did you come to the United States?
B1, B2 visa.
Okay. And how long you been here?
I've been here for more than 5 years now.
Okay. All right. So continue. So what's going on?
So my I-130 has been approved, but the I-45 was put on administrative closure due to the removal proceedings.
Your I-130 was approved. Who sponsored you?
My spouse, my wife.
Okay. So why are you not adjusting your status before the immigration judge?
Actually, I just didn't do that. I decided to do it with the UCIS. So I sent prosecutorial discretion motion to the ICE, which was approved yesterday. So I'm thinking maybe should I file motion to the judge since I've been approved for prosecutorial discretion.
All right. So you had an order of removal at some point?
No, I never had order of removal. I just filed that so at least I won't be in the court proceeding no more.
All right. So you were in the process of, let me understand this straight, and then I'll give you my very good advice.
Okay.
You were in the process of getting removed. You got prosecutorial discretion. They stopped the case. Never got ordered removed. You married a U.S. citizen. You have your I-130 approved, and you want to know what to do from here.
Actually, the thing is, I was in removal proceeding. I never even had a court date yet. I never had.
You got the prosecutorial discretion even before the court date.
Even before.
Okay, great. Even fabulous. All right. So what you need to do is you need to make a motion to the immigration judge to recalendar your case for a master calendar and request termination so you can adjust your status before USCIS.
Okay.
All right? And either the judge will terminate it or the judge will say, no, file your adjustment before me. It'll be one or the other.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
All right. Good luck.
Even when anyway, that sounds understandable.
Okay.
But the thing is, the UCIS wrote me a letter saying my interview has been completed and all that, it's either
So you filed an adjustment already with USCIS. So the
Yes, I
I-130
did, I already did.
The
I-130
I-130 is approved, but your I-45 is administratively closed because you have you're in removal proceedings. So,
Exactly.
so when you make the motion to recalendar and terminate, you tell the immigration judge, not only is my I-130 approved, but I have an administratively closed adjustment application too.
Okay, sir.
All right?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go to Johnny in LA. Johnny.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I have a question about a close friend of mine who is undocumented but has a California state driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Can they fly domestically just for a weekend, like kind of an important business trip?
Yes.
Well, do they have to worry about TSA?
They have to show a photo ID if it's a valid California driver's license and it's their photo and their information. They can use that to get on an airplane.
Is there any chance that there could be?
There's always a chance that you get out of bed and you walk across the street that immigration is going to deport you, but that's like getting hit by lightning 4 days in a row. And right now, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement is concentrating on people who have criminal records. So as long as he doesn't have a criminal record, I really wouldn't lose him in this sleepover.
Okay,
but you're asking me, is it possible? Anything is possible.
Right.
But in the scheme of all of the possibilities, that's all the way at the bottom.
Okay. He's never flown before. You don't think
fine.
there's anything he should keep in mind,
No.
like anything to worry about?
No, here's my ID.
Just use the idea, and it's good going out of LA and also going out of airports in New York.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye. Let's go to Francisca in Moreno Valley, California.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I have a question for you. In 2018, I filed for my citizenship, and I went for the interview. And after the interview, I received a letter from the USCIS saying I was denied. So later,
Why did they deny you?
Because they said I entered into the country as a married daughter of a citizen instead of an unmarried daughter of a citizen. So they put me in a removal proceeding.
You came as married instead of unmarried, or you came as unmarried when you were married?
I came as an unmarried when I was
instead of married. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. Because when you claim you are unmarried, when in fact you were married, what the government's saying is you jumped the line. And that's a misrepresentation. So what happened when you went for what? So now what's going on?
Yeah, so when I went for the master hearing, the judge terminated my removal proceedings.
Great.
And announced that I adjust my status from a married daughter of a citizen to a married daughter of a citizen.
Great. So you readjusted.
Yeah.
Great.
So my question is, how long am I going to get a new green card
You're going to get a new green card with a new date of permanent residence, which is the date in which the judge adjusted your status, and then you're going to wait 5 more years to file your citizenship.
So how long is it going to take for me to get, because the termination was done last year, October.
Well, hopefully the judge is not sitting on your file and transferred it to the appropriate agency to manufacture your green card. I don't know. I don't work for the government, and I wasn't there in the court and what happened. But what's supposed to happen is after the judge approves your adjustment, they transfer the file to the appropriate agency to manufacture your green card and mail it to you. But you are a permanent resident as of that date that the judge approved it, and you could always get a temporary stamp in your passport. And then 5 years later from that date, whenever the judge approved your adjustment, you can refile for your citizenship.
Okay. But then I have a pending I-130 for my husband. It's been 5 years.
You would need to refile for your husband because that old case, you were not a lawful resident.
Okay.
All right, so file a new one for him now and withdraw the old one.
Okay. So who do I...
You have a lawyer, I assume, and if not, hold on. Let's go to Alfonso in Syracuse.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I got a question. I filed in for my wife and my kids when I was a green card holder, 2019, August 8th.
You're a citizen or a resident?
I was a permanent resident when I filed in for her.
You filed for your wife and your children, correct?
And my kid.
Okay.
But she
One
just
child.
got another child again, so that's why.
2 children.
So 2 children now.
Right.
And I turned citizen in 2021, September 9th.
Now, what happens when you turn a citizen is the kids fall off your wife's petition. You got to file separately for them.
Yeah, so I contacted USCIS in National Visa Center to do an update that I'm a citizen now.
Right, but now the children fall off. You got to file separate I-130s for them. That's the problem. That's a problem you're going to face now.
And I stay receiving
But
email
you're not listening to any
National-
words that came out of my mouth. You want your children to come to America? You need to file
Yeah.
separate petitions for them. They're not coming right now. They're off the case.
After I did my citizenship, I applied for the other case.
Oh, you
that
did?
I was
Okay,
just-
fine. That's why I asked you. Okay, so what is your question?
Yeah. So my question is July 8th going to make me 1 year since I started receiving the email saying it will be scheduled in 60 days, and they haven't been scheduled yet. So after
This
1
is your
year,
wife and children?
yeah,
And what country are they in?
Liberia, West
Okay.
Africa.
Yeah, well, Liberia, the embassies are closed and all over Africa. They're way backed up. But the only thing you can do is contact the embassy. Has your file been transferred to Liberia, or it's still sitting at the National Visa Center?
I don't know if I call the National Visa Center, no one answers.
All right, hold on. You need help. Hold on. Let's go to Maxine in Brooklyn.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I have a question.
Yes.
I got married to my husband. He came up on the work permit and we got married.
Okay.
And we went for the interview.
Right.
On March 28th. The interview did not went well because the interviewer, I thought he was badgering me. So it's like I didn't know what I was saying or anything like that. So he gave me a paper to sign. He did not tell me what was on the paper, and I was crying so much when I realized that my husband was going to get the green card. So I ended up signing the paper.
What did you sign? It says what? Withdraw the case? Did you sign something that says it's a fraudulent marriage? What did you sign?
Well, I got to realize that I signed the paper stating that I'm withdrawing the case.
Okay. So are you and your husband in a bona fide marriage? You live together?
Yes, we live together, and I have a file for his son.
So refile again, and let's do it right this time.
Okay, so I did file for his son. What is going to happen to his case?
The son is going to be on hold till the husband gets a green card. So let's refile for the husband.
Okay, so they're not going to withdraw. They're not going to turn the withdrawal. I have to go back and file all
No,
over.
they're just going to keep the case pending until your husband gets through. And now at that interview, it's a simple interview if it's a real marriage. And the simple interview is, do you live together? Do you have a financial relationship?
Yes.
Then there should be no reason why you need to withdraw cases. There should be no reason why you get denied. This should be straightforward. Hold on one second. Let's go to Keisha in Houston. Hi, Keisha. Keisha. Keisha going once. Keisha in Houston going twice. All right. Oh, I think Keisha was there. Keisha, you there?
I'm here. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Nothing much. I appreciate your program.
Thank you.
I'm calling to ask you 2 questions.
What?
I just got some response from the immigration processing. The problem that I'm having is I'm supposed to file the affidavit of support. However, the document online is giving me an issue because some parts are not allowing me to type inside of the document. How do you
print it out and mail it in?
Print and
fill it
handwrite
out.
it?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. The next question is, my husband only has 2 years of tax filed. Is that okay? He's a permanent resident. Household, 4 persons, including myself.
How much money does he earn?
All right. So the first year it was 45. The first year he just started, it was 25. The second year it was 45. He's currently earning 70, but no tax.
That should be okay.
That should be okay. All right. Thank you so very much.
Good luck.
All right.
All right. Let's go to Nalo in the Bronx. Nalo.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I want to ask if I'm a F1 student, if I'm a graduate, I have an F1 visa with my bachelor's in business management. How long do I have in the U.S. after I graduate if my F1 visa expires in 2022?
You get 1 year optional practical training if you applied for it. If you did not apply for it, then you have 60 days.
If I did not apply for repeat?
If you did not apply for optional practical training, you have 60 days after graduation to stay in the country legally. If you applied for optional practical training, you'll get a year to stay and work legally.
Okay, so what if I was supposed to get a I-20 re-signed and it's 6 months after I already graduated?
Then you're undocumented. You get your I-20 and you request to be reinstated, and you can do that within 6 months of an overstay on a student visa.
Okay, so then I'll be fine to come out and come back into the country.
No, you need to get reinstated in the United States.
Oh.
Oh.
You need help. Hold on. All right. By the way, you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered. You can always follow me on Instagram at RealBradBernstein. You can drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your questions as best as I can. You can also follow us on Bradshaw Live on Instagram for the best 30, 45 seconds of our show. You can also follow us on TikTok, our fastest growing social media platform. You can leave a question in the comments section, and you may be lucky enough for me to read it and answer it for the entire world to see on a video made directly for you.
And you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And later in the show, I'm going to speak with Bertha Loaiza, known as the Miracle Girl. Bertha is a mental health awareness and suicide prevention advocate based in San Diego, California. And her story is a miracle, and so you're going to really want to watch.
And in this VIP outtake, Sister Norma Pimentel, the Executive Director of Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley, located in Texas at the U.S.-Mexico border, gives us her thoughts on yesterday's mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas.
Right now, we're going through a very difficult time here in Texas. And I guess in all over the world, when we see what just happened yesterday with the children that were killed, it's unfortunate that we cannot come together as a community to address, truly take responsibility and the courage to come up with ways to protect our children, our families, our innocent people that are so exposed to the dangers of somebody so easily can pick up a gun and kill somebody. We must all take full responsibility and say, what can we do to stop this? And not just point the finger, but rather address it correctly and take the courage to find ways that make this right. Really truly address how can we make our community safer so that children and families can be okay.
Social media check-in, let's do it.
Francisca Kojo, Facebook VIP member. How long does it take USCIS to adjust status from an unmarried daughter of a U.S. citizen to a married daughter of a citizen?
Adjust status?
Yes, adjust status.
I don't know how you would. You mean a married daughter is going to take 10, 15 years to get a green card. Unmarried is about 7. I'm not sure about adjustment of status. So I think she's asking if she gets married, how much longer she has to wait, which will be
how long does
years.
it take USCIS to adjust status from an unmarried daughter?
You're not adjusting status. You're just changing your category from F1 to F3. You just write a letter and boom, it's done.
Azanik Pretty on Facebook. My friend overstayed her visa due to medical issues and being hospitalized for quite some time. Would any problem present itself if she returned home but wanted to go to Canada?
No.
Daryl Winnaby on YouTube. My wife just applied for citizenship, and in the marriage section, my current status is pending, COS to student. Almost 9 months pending now. Will this have any impact on my application? If yes, how?
It won't.
Andre Thomas on YouTube. If I came to the U.S. on a work visa, then 90 days before I registered to sit the NCLEX exam for nursing,
yeah,
and submit my alien registration number to the New York State Board, then later an employer filed an I-140, would I be denied for misrepresentation? The reason for my question regards misrepresentation. When I entered the country, I wasn't eligible for the NCLEX exam, but now I'm
as long as the I-140 was filed more than 90 days after your entry, you're fine.
Okay, Jody Ann on YouTube. I received my work permit and did the biometric for VAWA, but I've only done a medical for a previously denied case in 2019. Should there be another medical done for my upcoming green card interview?
Yes.
The Alias Boy on YouTube. I had an abusive ex-husband. Now I'm with someone else and we have a son. Does this qualify me for VAWA?
If you had an abusive ex-husband and it's within 2 years of a divorce, you can file a VAWA case for sure.
Deshaun on YouTube. My priority date is 2008, my November 30th. The problem is we are DQ January 5th, 2021, but my daughter will age out. Will she get to be covered under the Age Out Act?
I would need to know a lot more information to determine whether it's Child Status Protection Act.
Gadiri on YouTube. If someone loses his student status because of health issues and applies for asylum and it's taken too long, how can he get back to school?
Because he's applying for asylum?
Yeah, so he lost his student status and because of health.
If you were on a student status and then applied for asylum and there was never a time period that you were not, you can change your status back to a student and then withdraw your asylum case if you want.
Shamim Ahmed on YouTube. Which year and month of U visa filers are now getting BFD notifications so that they can get an EAD?
I don't know the answer to that.
Hamid Raji.
But what they're asking is how people on U visas get bona fide determinations to get a work permit. But there's so many backed up. I don't have I haven't seen the statistic on that yet.
Okay, Hamid Raji on YouTube. What's happening about the TPS and removal proceedings the government is planning to do by creating priority and non-priority cases?
Anybody who does not have a criminal record is going to end up getting their cases prosecutorial discretion.
Frida Konadu on YouTube. I've been out of the U.S. for a very long time, but I have a social security number. Can I use my social security number as proof at the U.S. Embassy to get a visa?
No, because your social security number is going to indicate that you want to come work. I don't know if that would be a good idea.
Right. Deborah Gibson on YouTube. VAWA I-360 approved. Advanced parole given February 2020. How long is the VAWA green card? Can I travel on advanced parole and return without a problem? And how long can I stay out of the USA?
On advanced parole, my opinion is don't stay out for more than 4 to 6 weeks. It should be about 9 months from the time you get your VAWA approved to the time you get your green card.
Sharon Thomas on Facebook. If someone has a petition for their married daughter, can the parent file for disability if they're unable to work?
Absolutely.
Okay, will it affect their case?
Well, you get a second affidavit of support from someone else.
Okay. Tia on YouTube. NVC said my interview will be scheduled soon. My I-601A is not approved. My derivative turns 19 and is out of status. What to do?
Hopefully you'll get your 601A approved before your child's 21. But if your child doesn't have his or her own I-601A, they don't piggyback on yours. Every person over 18 needs their own provisional waiver to go home and come back. So I didn't hear that your child has a provisional waiver filed.
God's Grace on YouTube. I'm an F1 student who just graduated with my bachelor's in business management. How long do I have in the U.S. after?
Yeah, we answered that one.
Okay. Uche on Facebook. I filed a VAWA application with I-131 and 765. I only received the approval document I-131 since January 2021. Till now, I have not received anything concerning I-765, not even the receipt of application. I wrote so many letters, but no response.
Sounds like you never filed an I-765.
Ooh.
You don't have a receipt? You have no proof that it was filed? File a new one.
Juan Gonzalez on YouTube. I used to be a resident many years ago through marriage, divorced before removing conditions and returned to my home country. I gave up my green card and came back with a B1, B2 visa. Any options to reopen? It's been a long time.
No, you have to figure out your own way to get a green card now.
Elaine Bach on Facebook. My daughter's grandmother adopted her to take to the U.S. when she was 14 years old, but she never got to the U.S. through the adoption. I got a visa for her before the adoption came through. Now she can't file for me because I signed the adoption paper. What can I do?
You have to figure out another way to get a green card. Once your daughter is adopted by somebody else, that breaks the legal bond between you and the daughter.
Wow. Omugabi Nsamba on Facebook. What does it mean when a pending decision for I-589 online case status check changes to I-765 fees waived? Does it mean the case is approved?
No, it means that they waived the application for your work permit.
Chapdim on YouTube. How much is the filing fees for I-130s from start to finish, including consular process, 14-year-old son overseas?
$535 for the I-130 visa petition, and then you have fees at the National Visa Center. They're $400 and something.
Brian Abdul on Facebook. The parents sponsored an adult unmarried child. The case is at NVC. The priority date is 2018. How long for a green card interview at the embassy, which is in Trinidad and Tobago?
Adult unmarried child.
The parents sponsored an adult unmarried child.
In 2018?
Your priority date is 2018.
Another 3-4 years.
Boss Lady Mar E. Banks on Facebook. If I apply for asylum, got my work permit and Social Security, but don't get or didn't get an interview as yet, can I use the social in another state?
Yes.
Alex Schwartz on YouTube. I have my green card 2018 through job. I have a 10-year green card November 2018. When can I go and apply for my citizenship?
90 days before the 5-year anniversary of you obtaining your green card.
And last one, Mary Winona on YouTube. My children are over 21 and filed for them in 2012. Up to date, nothing has happened. They finalized documents in 2019, but till now they have not been interviewed. What's happening?
They're still wait on the waiting list. That's what's happening. They haven't reached your priority date yet. All right, so May is Mental Health Awareness Month. The purpose of Mental Health Awareness Month is to help eliminate the stigma associated with mental illness by raising awareness of mental health conditions and those who have them. The news and life in general can be tough, and sometimes we all need a little help. Bertha Loaiza is a mental health awareness and suicide prevention advocate who works with survivors of suicide loss in San Diego and runs the only bilingual program for suicide survivors in that area. Bertha is known as the Miracle Girl. She spoke with me about what she has survived and the work that she does, and it's truly miraculous. Let's watch. Bertha Loaiza is a first-generation Mexican-American who works towards mental health awareness and suicide prevention. Bertha is known as the Miracle Girl. Her own personal journey of survival and resilience is what has guided her in her mission, and she joins me to share her story and discuss her important work. Welcome, Bertha, and thank you for coming on Bradshaw Live.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So you were raised by your maternal grandparents since you were a toddler. Can you tell me what you knew about your mom growing up?
Yes, my mother, along with her siblings and my grandparents, immigrated from Mexico. So I was raised by my maternal grandparents. And as I realized that there was one person missing, my mother, they spoke of her. They spoke of an accident that we were both in. She lost her life. I didn't. and everything seemed well. So I didn't have any reason to question, Well, I understood at some point that that's the circle of life. People pass away sometimes. There's terrible accidents, but I was lucky to be surrounded by a lot of love and a lot of people. So I just went on.
But you discovered that that was not necessarily the case. It was not an accident, that your mom actually committed suicide. How did you find that out?
Yeah, I found out that my mom died by suicide at the age of 17, and it was a recording of a newscast that was doing a follow-up story on my recovery. When I watched the VHS of the news recording, I learned that my mother, at the age of 23, was holding me in her arms as she went over one of our local bridges here, which is over 200 feet.
Did you know that you were injured as a result of your mom committed suicide, or you were a baby and you had no recollection that you even had an injury?
I did. I suffered many injuries, many permanent injuries from that when my mom died by suicide. I mean, I went to a lot of doctor's appointments and, I had all these eyeglasses and patches and scars that were explained by my mother and I being in an accident where she lost her life and I didn't.
She jumped off the bridge with you in her arms as a 3-year-old. How did you survive?
Brad, that is a $1 million question. Ultimately, I believe she did save me because she did take most of the hit when we hit the water, but I believe I was saved, that my life was spared because to be able to do wonderful work in the community with people like yourself.
What were your injuries at the time? I assume you still have no recollection to this day, correct?
No, I don't remember that day. I remember being in the hospital, recovery, and years of follow-up appointments with doctors. I had trauma. I had cataract trauma to my right eye, so I lost most of my vision in my right eye, collapsed lungs, shattered pelvic and hip that I have surgically corrected now. I had a total hip replacement 3 years ago. So I was living with that pain, with that, bone pain in the last few years.
Now, you're called the Miracle Girl because you are the first person ever to go over this particular 246-foot bridge and live.
I was up until that point.
What is the name of the bridge?
It's the San Diego Coronado Bay Bridge. It goes over the San Diego Bay, so it links the city of San Diego to Coronado Island.
And you find this VHS. Were you angry with your grandparents? You say, how did you keep this from me?
Honestly, I've never been angry about the way I found out. I watched it probably 200 times over and over and over, initially thinking it was some sort of an audio problem, where the video is going, but the audio didn't match. So I thought the story didn't match because that wasn't the story that I knew. So after, a bunch of times watching it, and I realized that was what really happened because it was being televised in our local news. I felt everything. I think I was sad because I felt more of a disconnect with my mother because I felt bad that I wasn't aware of mental illness. If there was anything I could have done at 3 years old to help her pain, I was confused because I didn't understand at that point what all mental health entailed, what suicide really was. And then how would a 3-year-old child that the mother adored, why would I be involved?
Who was the first people that you went to and said, oh my God, I found this horrible information that was kept from me, that my mother jumped off a bridge with me in her arms?
I couldn't believe it. I did approach my family and I felt bad by doing so because I knew that by me bringing it up, they were going to relive the pain of losing my mother. So I was very careful on how I did it because I didn't want to bring more pain, but I wanted to understand. So I did, slowly started telling everybody I found the VHS of the recording. I know what really happened. You don't need to explain anything to me. Let me process it, and we'll go through it, one day at a time. And my family was very supportive. They even apologized because they said, we're sorry we didn't tell you sooner. I said, no. I found out when I was supposed to find out. I'm glad. It was hard for me to accept that after all these years of knowing, seeing pictures, hearing stories of my mother and mine interaction for the 3 years that I did spend with her, I refused to believe that she tried to kill me or even herself. I went into, let's say, more of a detective mode than less of a depressed mode. But it was one of those things that I had to learn more about. I had to figure out why somebody would get to that point. And at random times, it would hit me, and it would make me sad for my mother that she didn't have access or enough resources or just enough help to get through this.
What did you find out about your mom and her depression and what she was suffering and why she chose to take her life and tried to take your life as well?
That's the thing with suicide. We'll never have a concrete answer because it does take usually many factors through a long period of time to get to that fatal result. But my mother, I know, coming into a new country, I'm sure that didn't make it easy. Being the oldest of 4, I'm sure that didn't help. And then being a young mother, a failed young marriage, to my father. I mean, that's all hearsay and things because she's not here to explain that.
Do you today forgive your mom?
My mother is not at fault. I don't blame my mother. I know that it wasn't her. I know that it wasn't her in her right mind that chose to do any of this. I believe she held me because she loved me. I know she didn't want to hurt me. And in my heart, I do believe that there may have been some sort of moment of clarity at the end where she did guard me from most of the hit when we did fall into the water.
Now learning this, I guess, put you on a trajectory to what you do today. You run a program, Survivors of Suicide Loss.
Yeah, Survivors of Suicide Loss is a local nonprofit here in San Diego. We offer support services for anybody that's lost a loved one to suicide. And those services include support groups, reaching out. We have community events where we interact with one another and create, little things to remember, arts and crafts, activities, go out by the bay, different things to remember our loved one's life, because we have to remember how they lived, not how they died, because suicide is a result of mental illness. We know this now in 2020, living in San Diego, being a border town. And it's hard. When I speak to other families, it is, the stresses that families of coworkers or friends are suffering, because of new restrictions or new laws.
Are there programs available at Survivors of Suicide Loss for asylum seekers, undocumented immigrants? Are there specific programs available for people?
The wonderful thing about Survivors of Suicide Loss is that everybody is welcome. Not going to check your legal status or, any of that situation. We all are grieving the same loss, which was a loved one to suicide, and we help each other grow through that grief and remember our loved ones in a positive way.
Now, within the general Latino community and really the immigrant community as a whole, there is a lot of cultural resistance, especially for people who are not born in the United States, to go to therapy, to admit they have a problem, to recognize that they're suffering through depression. Why do you think that is?
Nobody wants to be looked at weak or crazy. Those are terms that we have for many, many years been accustomed to relate to when it comes to seeking help for mental illness. But it should not be any different than seeking help for any other medical condition.
What are some of the warning signs if, you're with a loved one or a friend or a colleague to see if somebody may be suicidal and they need help?
Some of the more common signs, if you or your loved one may be depressed or suicidal, would be feeling sense of not being able to provide for your family, feeling worthless, thinking more about death and how maybe everybody around you would be, better off without you, which all of those are untrue. Some of the more uncommon that people may not usually relate to would be maybe overworking, or not wanting to work, prolonged periods of times of changes in their normal routine behavior would be a warning sign. Every threat should be taken seriously because it's better to be wrong and still be alive than the opposite. It is very important that if you see that in somebody else, you ask them, are you thinking of taking your life, not hurting yourself, but are you seriously thinking of taking your life? The only way that we can open up and be more honest is if our communication is honest with one another. There's no time, when we're speaking of a life, there's no time to waste. Just ask, are you thinking of taking your life?
What are the national hotline numbers somebody can call to get help right now?
If anybody needs help right now, the best number to call, if you're in imminent danger or you feel like you or somebody else is in imminent danger, call 911. For suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255.
And if somebody wanted to follow you or find out more about your work, how would they reach out to you?
They could call our local number for resource non-emergency number, 619-482-0297, or visit our website at soslsd.org.
So Bertha, you have, by all accounts, a miracle story in the sense that you had a second opportunity at life, because you could have had life taken away from you before you even knew what life was as a 3-year-old. How do you feel about yourself today?
I am thankful to wake up every day, to be able to see a new sunrise, to be able to spend with my children. I was given life, a second chance at life, and I was able to produce life and be able to speak with people like yourself. And how could I not be thankful?
And finally, this is a show about achieving your American dream. Tell me, what is your American dream? Have you achieved it?
It really wasn't up until a couple of years ago that I realized the importance of being able to come out and sharing my story. So I found my American dream mid-30s, but now I'm trying to continue living a good life, a healthy life, so that we can be happy. And my dream, just coming out and being able to, even if others use my story as an icebreaker for a conversation, but the fact that they're able to do that, to bring up mental illness, maybe in a private family dinner, that's all I could ask for. I just want, everybody to just live their life, and I don't want to lose any more lives to suicide or mental illness.
Bertha Loaiza, thank you. You are certainly the miracle Miracle that you're here. Miracle of what you're doing to help people. You're doing wonderful work. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you for providing this really necessary help for so many people who are suffering.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you for all that you do.
Okay, thank you. And as Bertha said, if you or someone you love is suffering from depression and or suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. And Jonathan, I understand there's a half a question I haven't answered yet.
Yes, from Sharon Thomas. This is about the petition for the married daughter. If the parent could file for can the parent file for disability if they're unable to work, and if it will affect their case. Now, what's the procedure to expedite the case if the parent is sick and would need someone to? The parent is sick and would need someone to stay with them. Priority date is January 2010.
Well, the priority date's not current yet. So if the priority date's not current, you can't expedite cases even if you're sick, unfortunately. Once the priority date is current and they're not getting visa appointments, that's a different situation.
All right.
All right, you ready to speed round?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, hold on. 10 seconds. Not 10 seconds.
I was about to say
50 seconds, 10 questions. I was going to say 10 seconds, 50 questions.
Oh, gosh.
That would be a world record.
Yeah. All right. After fixing the error on the EAD card, how long will it take to get a new one?
Oh, at least 6 months.
Can a U.S. citizen child in another country be claimed on tax return?
Probably not.
Can you apply for a voucher for emotional abuse and abandonment?
Emotional abuse, yes.
Can you use a state ID to travel to Canada if you're a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
If a sponsor has an arrest, does that affect the beneficiary during the green card interview?
Unless it's a sexual offense of a minor.
Can I work with the EAD without using my H4 status?
Yeah.
Can I apply for K1 if I'm already married?
No.
How many months are required for travel insurance for a tourist visa?
How many months? I don't know.
Can I get a H-2B visa as a truck driver?
No.
Is it possible to adjust your status if you overstay with a C1D?
No.
Does my relationship have to be 2 years or more to bring my fiance? Oh, yeah, that is 10. Woo! I just kept on going because I was like.
That was 10. I mean, what was that question like? How much in time do I have to be here to get travel insurance?
Yeah, how many? Right. I was like,
I'm not an insurance broker. What the heck do I know? All right, comment. We did it though. Comments of the day.
Y'all, I just kept on going. I was like, I'm just gonna keep on going.
We did it.
And I was like,
but that was the funniest one. I'm like, what am I, an insurance broker?
Right.
Okay.
All right. Woo.
Comments of the day. We did it.
You saw I was just kept on going.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, we did it.
All right, y'all. Comments of the day. Our first comment of the day. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, saying, I love to see Yo-Yo in glasses. And yes, we want to see Brad in glasses.
Ooh.
Tomorrow.
Well, I got to remind myself to bring my glasses.
Got to remind yourself.
Okay.
Put it in your phone.
All right.
All right. And we have another one from Burrell Holt. Carol saying, there are lots of troubled people in this world. I work with the mentally ill all day long, and usually there are signs. It's just that most people look past the clues.
That is very true.
That is very true.
Yeah.
And
people don't want to know.
Yeah.
Don't want to know.
Mm-hmm. And our last comment of the day. Very simply put, William Patrick Kamga saying, the best show ever.
Oh, best show ever! I like that.
Yeah.
All right, join us tomorrow. We'll be Four Eyes and Wacky World News. All in one day. See you tomorrow. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein Law Firm, located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK, 1-800-529-5465.